everyone, welcome back. It's a new week, so I have a new video for you right here today. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today. I thought it would be really fun to show you how to use various mediums into one painting. So today's video is a tutorial on how to make a mixed medium art piece. If that interests you, then awesome, stick around. And with that said, let's get mixing. Okay, so I'm starting off with my standard 8 by 8 inch birch panel, and I've sketched out a little bird here. I'm going to actually use my Sharpie to outline the bird and some of the details. And I'll be using more Sharpies in this piece as part of the mixed mediums. So next I'm going ahead in with some watercolors. I am going to just put this in the background and really let the water do the work for me, blending and soaking into the wood. Again, my birch panel is not primed. I'm just allowing that wood to really absorb the pigment of these watercolors. Okay, so now is probably a really good time for me to explain what is mixed medium art. It's pretty simple. It's just using 3 or more different mediums in one art piece. It's that easy. You will need to know some knowledge on the structural makeup of your mediums, right? So you'll need to know how your watercolors is going to interact with your acrylics and how acrylics interact with oils, because if you want to paint with those 3, you'll have to realize that watercolor would have to go down first, followed by the acrylic, followed by the oil, because you cannot put acrylic over oil, and you can't put watercolor over oil either. So, and you really can't put watercolor over acrylic either. So in order to do a successful mixed medium art piece, you do need to know how to handle your mediums and how they work with each other. Other mediums that you can work with, I'm just going to name off a few. It could be encaustic, you could do collage or fabric, watercolor pencils, colored pencils, pastels, oil pastels, just about anything you could think of. You can combine them together in some way to really make a beautiful, unique, original mixed medium art piece. So most people probably know this as mixed media, but I was told in college from my art instructors that that is actually incorrect. So mixed media implies a sense of like technology, so audio, visual, videography, anything of that nature, CGI, all of that stuff, right? Where if you say mixed mediums, it's implying more of a sense of the like traditional organic, two-dimensional art supply forms. So a lot of people say mixed media, and I think that's totally fine, but I was informed in college way back when that it's technically mixed medium. So I am referring to this as mixed mediums in this tutorial. I do have to say that I am super surprised and very pleased with how these watercolors are reacting with the birch panel. They are really maintaining their vibrant pigments, which is outstanding. I was afraid that they would be a little bit diluted a bit as they absorbed in that wood, but they are holding strong. So the mediums that I've picked out for this piece today, obviously there's watercolor and Sharpies. Again, I'm going to be going back in and using those Sharpies a little bit more in this piece. And then I think I'll also use some acrylic paints, followed by acrylic markers, and maybe top that off with colored pencils. So I'm actually using 5 different kinds of mediums in this one piece. It's going to be really exciting, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. So I know from personal experience how all of these mediums work and how they work together. So I'm doing the watercolor first in the background, and then I know that acrylic can go over that. So I'll put a little bit, maybe some sprinkles over that in acrylic. And then the Sharpies should really go down first, or they can go over acrylic or watercolor, that's fine too. But I'm going to put some Sharpies in that bird, and then I'm going to paint over some of that, and then the rest of the bird with acrylic paint, followed by acrylic markers. And then I know that the colored pencils need to go on very, very last. And I'm going to use that for just an extra little flair of color and character and some details. So I'm just going in now with these Sharpies and adding a few small lines, details, textures, things to give it a little bit more personality and make the bird not look so flat. I'm not a huge fan of Sharpies, but I thought I would at least show you guys how to do that. So like I said, I'm probably going to cover some of it up. I'll try to leave most of it through the painting without covering up with the acrylics, because you really don't want to obviously cover up a medium, because then you no longer count that medium. I guess I wouldn't count the medium, you know, because then you're subtracting it. So anyways, yeah, so Sharpies and then acrylic paint after this. If you guys don't know what encaustic painting is, I mentioned that as one of the mediums you can use. It's pretty cool. I tried it like a couple decades ago. It was amazing. It's basically painting with hot wax that's been colored with powdered pigments. And I had a recipe for it too. So you actually melt the Mar crystals and you mix that in with beeswax, and then you can color. And when I mix these, they're on a hot plate in little muffin tins, and then that way you can separate out all your colors and the formula. And so I add the pigments in. Some people can also use crayons. Crayons work for pigment as well. Anyways, and so you paint with that, and it's a lot of fun. And that Damar crystal mixture helps to really solidify it and harden it. It's such a cool medium to work with. If you haven't heard of it, I would suggest looking that up and giving it a go. You might really enjoy it. Okay, so I'm coming in now with my acrylic paints and starting to really fill in the rest of the bird. And like I said, I am covering up some of those markers, but not all of them. I will leave some of them. But yeah, I think this is, so far, it's turning out great, and I'm really excited to see how the rest of it is going to turn out. Quick reminder, everyone, I do have a shop on my website where I am selling all of these little demonstrations that I do on YouTube, along with other original artworks. And if you are interested in that, I will link all of that information down below in the description box. And if you haven't already done so, please don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. It doesn't really do much of anything for you guys, but it makes a huge impact for me and my channel. It sort of sends a signal to YouTube saying, hey, people like this channel. You should start maybe recommending it in other people's feeds, you know? So that would be greatly appreciated. And like always, I'll be sure to link all of these supplies I'm using today down below in the description box in case you want to make one of your own mixed medium little pieces. And this is also a really great and super fun project for kids and beginners to really learn how to play around with different mediums. I highly recommend this exercise to just about everyone. If you haven't tried it, definitely go ahead and give it a go. Oh, this is looking so good. I am so excited for this piece. I'm just going to come in with a little bit of purple now and touch up some spots here and there. And I think we'll move on to the next medium in just a minute. So the wings are looking like they're getting a little bit lost in the mix of things. So I'm going to take my liner brush here and just outline that very edge with a very light blue color to help make it stand out a bit more. I'm just going to go through real quick and find some areas where I feel like they need to pop a bit, and just highlight those spots real quick, like the beak here. I think that looks much better. Okay, so let's sprinkle in some paint now. I just feel like this painting really needs something else in the background, but I don't want to spend all day drawing or writing something out or doing doodles. So I'm just going to go ahead and come in with a couple brushes here and sprinkle the paint and just kind of break up the colors just a little bit and give it some details. Okay, coming in with a new medium, acrylic markers. I classify this as a different medium. It is acrylic paint. That's great. We've painted with acrylic paints. However, Acrylic markers are still different the way that they appear on your surface. They're very, very tightly controlled, right? So it's going to be a lot of fun to use these, I think. They show up differently than just regular paint and brushes do. So I totally classify these as their own separate medium. So I'm coloring the bird's legs here, and then I'm going to go in with the markers and just add a few different shapes and strokes and maybe some dots throughout the bird to just kind of spice him up a bit and make him look a little bit funkier. Does anyone else do that in their art pieces where they just randomly go through and add some fun shapes and lines and colors to make it look a little, I don't know, more wild and kind of trippy? And fun fact, everyone, I film at least 1 week, sometimes 2 weeks out. So as you are watching this, I am actively painting a mural down in California, and I'm super happy just thinking about it right now because it's like 55 here in Oregon and raining, and it is in the 80s down there. So I'm really excited to get some sun and some warmth on my skin. I can't wait. So I'm using a white acrylic marker to outline the bird because I just thought it needed it. Have you ever like been working on a painting and you're like, I know what I need to do, and this thought comes to you and you're like, I feel it. I have to do it. So that's what I felt here. I just really needed to put that white down to help make it pop. Just give it a different look, and I am just loving the decision to do so. Honestly, I find that my best works are when I paint more with intuition, and less thought, less pre-planning, just more emotion and just having fun. And I'm having so much fun with this piece. So I think it's going to turn out really good because whenever I feel that, my pieces always turn out great. I'm going to quickly brighten the legs of the bird because they are coming off as too dark. So I'm just going to put a little bit of orange in there, maybe a little bit of yellow, and then I think I'll come in with some other acrylic markers and just add some funky lines of color and dots throughout the bird. He's obviously not realistic. Like I said in other videos, I prefer not to paint realism. I have way more fun painting like this. You can just do whatever you want. I am enjoying this so much. I think I'm going to make more of these. I wonder if the hotel would like these. In case you guys don't know what I'm talking about, my artwork is featured at the Starry Night Inn located in Seaside, Oregon, and it is a boutique art hotel on the Oregon coast. Super cool place if you want to check it out. I highly recommend them. Great place to stay, and all the art there is awesome and for sale. And it's not just my art. There's, I think, 5 other artists that show there as well. So all the cabins and rooms in the Victorian house, they're just packed with really unique handmade art pieces. You should go check them out. Also, not a sponsor. I just felt like this bird needed an additional color besides the blue and green and purple, so I'm tossing in a little bit of pink here. There is pink in the background, so I think it's going to work just fine. Honestly, there's so much color in this, I think any color that I choose would actually work. So we are almost done with the markers, and then we are going to move on to the final medium here in a second. Exciting new announcement as well. I almost forgot to talk about this. I got a new little side gig that just developed over the last week. I got a position with Paint the Town, which is a paint and sip party company. However, instead of going to them, they actually come to you. So they do virtual events, and the host, like myself, would actually go to your place of business or home to throw the party. So it's pretty neat. I'm really excited about working for them, and I look forward to starting. Okay, so now I'm coming in with that final medium of my colored pencils. I know that these guys work great right over top of acrylics, so I'm just pressing them down kind of firmly and adding in some squiggles and lines and fun little designs all over that bird for my final touches. I would love to see how your mixed medium pieces turned out. Go ahead and send me a message or photo if you'd like. I'd love to check them out to see how they turned out, and let me know which mixed mediums you used or which ones you would like to try out in your piece. So I think for my next video after the mural, hopefully I'll get the mural video up and running the week after this one. If not, I'm thinking the next one I want to try to show you guys would be finger painting. How's that sound to you? I think that we could have a lot of fun playing around with finger painting. I haven't done that since I was a kid, so I think that might be a very real possibility. I'm just adding in a few swirls here and there for the final touches, and we are just about done. Okay, so we are finished. This trippy little bird turned out fantastic. Those watercolors are super vibrant, very surprising, and all these fun little details turned out great. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I will see all of you next week. Until then, guys, happy painting.